showboating how ethical you are, while your whole world burns around you. Only one word to describe it. Pathetic. And that's why soon, and it will happen soon, when your whole civilization burns to the ground, that's why there are going to be others to take it. To show you, to give you an example of what it really means to have a society. Real ethics. Not ones based on fabrications like this.
YouTube is filled with interesting personas, and most of the best of them are acting. But on the rare and sometimes disturbing occasion, you get to see people in grandiose, almost James Bond supervillain states, which they don't actually seem to be acting. And if they are acting, then they need to get an agent and move to Hollywood, because it's that good, I guess. And Ali, I really have to nominate this video for, YouTube supervillain of the month sort of speech, because he goes on this long tirade where basically Ali wants to know why YouTube atheists, at least in the narrow little portion of their lives that he sees through the tiny little window of YouTube, aren't interested enough in the things that he really cares about, and why do we spend time participating in an AIDS charity rather than spending all of our time, money, and energy denouncing the American military-industrial complex that's destroying the world and massacring civilians everywhere? Well, I guess for starters, because, that's not really reality. We don't spend 80% of our money on the military. It's more like 50%, but in part, the reason why the American military is so expensive is because we develop high-tech, sophisticated weapons to be highly precise in killing. The American military possesses a nuclear arsenal which could destroy humanity quite easily. We could start World War III at any moment, and that would just be the end of our species, over and done with. And I think that the people of Dresden, Germany, or Nagasaki or Hiroshima, Japan, have a somewhat different perspective on this idea of civilian casualties than modern warfare, in which we invest large sums of money in precision weapons to not kill civilians. It wasn't the Americans blowing up civilians in the markets, in the squares. The American military did its best to build schools and hospitals and to leave Iraq. And a lot of people don't want to admit the positive things which the American military has done. On the other hand, it was suicide bombers blowing up hundreds of people a day during the height of the insurgents. And Iraqis fighting Iraqis, and other people who wanted to come into the country and cause trouble and fight the American military, they were the ones setting off the bombs in the marketplaces, killing the civilians. That's not to say that America did nothing wrong during the war. What America did during the war is largely a matter of public record, and people can examine each individual situation as they will. I took Ali's whole speech to be a very smug attempt to be this badass dissident smoking a hookah and wanting to be Noam Chomsky. I wonder, though, Ali, Noam Chomsky spent pretty much his entire life denouncing virtually every aspect of American foreign policy and how it affected civilians in other parts of the world. He spoke to thousands of people, and yet he was never thrown in jail, and he was a professor at MIT. I think he actually might still be a professor at MIT. He spoke up quite a lot. Lots of militants and people who speak out against American foreign policy are, in fact, a dime a dozen. If you want to go listen to them, go watch some Noam Chomsky videos instead of obsessing over what YouTube atheists are doing. The whole video was basically, why aren't people interested in the things that he's interested in. Why don't people see the worldview the way he does? Well, because they're not you and they don't have your perspectives or interests. It's that simple, you know? I'm me, you're you, and my interests are my interests and your interests are yours. If you think that you understand me, you're probably sadly mistaken, because pretty much everyone you encounter on YouTube, you're really only seeing a tiny portion of their lives. But that doesn't stop people like Ali from basically categorically speaking to the individual values of these people. And it reminds me of a clip that I saw yesterday that I posted on my Facebook of Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I'll play that the relevant part of the video here.
I don't associate with movements. I'm not an ism. I think for myself. The moment once someone attaches you to a philosophy or a movement, then they assign all the baggage and all the rest of the philosophy that goes with it to you. And when you want to have a conversation, they will assert that they already know everything important there is to know about you because of that association. And that's not the way to have a conversation. I'm sorry, it's not. I'd rather we explore each other's ideas in real time rather than assign a label to it and assert you know what's going to happen in advance.
I really thought that quote, in my opinion, deserves a standing ovation. And Ali, I think I'm going to nominate for the YouTube James Bond supervillain speech of the year. Anybody else have any better contenders?
And that's why soon, and it will happen soon, when your whole civilization burns to the ground, that's why there are going to be others to take it, to show you, to give you an example of what it really means to have a society, real ethics, not ones based on fabrications like this. And you know what? I can't wait till that happens. I can't wait. Not because I like to see people suffer, but because in your own arrogance, in your insistence that your systems and your ideas should be exported overseas to the other underprivileged, to the uneducated, to the savage barbarians of the world.
So if we stop and examine what he just said for a moment, he's basically saying that America is the real barbarians because they are the ones going into other countries trying to impose their value systems. But they, you know, Ali's side, whatever that is going to be the real ones who come in after the collapse of America and teach us how to really live, because we are truly the barbarians and they are the enlightened ones. I think that the hypocrisy in the good and evil should be apparent.
In your arrogance,